Okay, well, I'm so glad that y'all are all here with us tonight. I am Julia Carty, a Diamond Ambassador, and we have Lindsay Russell, who is Sapphire. She is my first jewel, my only Sapphire, really my only jewel right now. And so we just kind of got to talking about what our team needed, and we knew that there was many of you who were silver, and you are working towards gold, and silver is such a great accomplishment. That means you have started this journey, you have started your business, you are starting to build your team. And I really think at gold, as you're gaining new ambassadors to reach gold, this is the most critical point in your business because you are laying the foundation for your team. So these first 20 people could really determine where you're going to go in this business. And we're going to talk tonight about different ways to get gold, different tips that we have, things that we've learned that work, things that don't work. So I really hope that tonight you leave this call with just an excitement and a determination, and even just knowing that you can do this. If you can get gold, Lindsay, what's our saying?
If you can make it to gold, you can make it to diamond. And I think that honestly, like Julia said, you're setting your foundation. It's not just the team members that you're gaining, it's you becoming that leader. And I know a lot of y'all, some of you may have never been in a leadership position like this before. I know I wasn't. So I had to really kind of that step between silver and gold, and even gold and beyond. You're learning so much about yourself. You're learning how to kind of deal with different personalities, deal with different team members. And so, like Julia said, you really are setting that foundation. But if you can get this, and it really is true, because this is the biggest jump. People say, look, this really is the biggest jump. So if you can find that balance, and balance is hard, but I think we've got some really good action steps that can really help y'all. And some of these are things that you may have heard a million times, but I think with this call and any other call, I think just trying to get one takeaway that's really, really like, okay, this really clicked for me. I think it's just something to gain for. So if you have, access to notepads and pens, I'm big about taking notes and writing stuff down. So, but I think that if you guys can just get a few takeaways, or even just one big takeaway from this, I think you're going to be leaving and really excited and really have a bigger vision and a bigger, like, I can really do this kind of attitude. So
we'll get started. So the first thing I want to discuss is what does gold look like? So many of you might be brand new. Maybe you just went silver. Some of you might be halfway to gold. I know on this call we can have such a broad range of ambassadors. So just real quickly, I want to go over what does gold look like. Well, first of all, to go gold, you have to have 20 or more commission qualified level 1 through 5 ambassadors. So as hopefully to gain gold, it can look different ways. It could be, you could gain 20 level 1s. I think that's how I went gold. I just personally went and recruited 20 people. Or you could recruit 5 people, and then they go recruit 3 people. So they don't all have to be level 1s. They could be level 1s through 5. Elra, do you have any examples of what that could look like?
Okay, so can you hear me? Mm-hmm. Okay, good. So you could have, all right, y'all just think, you could have 10 level 1s, and they all have 1 level 1. So you could have 10 level 1s, 10 level 2s. You could have 5 level 1s, and they all have a couple level 2s. You could have, I mean, 3 level 1s, and they all go silver. So it's there's no like right, wrong, reason, whatever. It's just continuing to get your 3, and then teaching those 3 to get their 3. Right. It can look a lot of different ways. I would say that, didn't you, Roz, how many, okay, I think she said she had 12 level 1s when she went diamond, or no, when she went emerald. And then, like, of course, Julia, she has like 75. So it just looks different for everybody,
Right. So there's no wrong way or right way. We call it going deep and wide, and we're going to talk about that tonight, going deep and wide. But I would say at this point, to continually adding level ones is very important.
Mm-hmm.
So, but gold can look many different ways. Now, at gold, you get a $250 cash bonus. That's on top of your commission and everything. And then there's also profit sharing points. And so with silver, you just had to have 3 ambassadors and you went silver. But with gold, you have to have 100 points. And the way you get these points is every person up under you, level 1 through 3, that's commission qualified. That means they buy or sell $100 worth, you get 5 points for. So if you have 20 people who give you 5 points, that makes 100 points. Now, these points have a cash value. Normally, they're around $3 a point. So if you have 100 points when you go gold times $3, that's $300 you're making on top of this $250 cash bonus. So that's $550 that you're going to make bonus out of bonuses on top of your commission and your preferred customers and everything. So that should be motivation right there, that gold is a great goal. I mean, that covers probably 2 or 3 months worth of products.
Mm-hmm.
Also, the average monthly income for our team, a gold level, is $1,031. So that's the average. Now, I know golds that make more than that. I know golds that might make a little bit less than that, but most of them make around $1,000 a month.
And that's just like the cash bonus is a one-time bonus, of course. But if you guys have some background noise, or if you've got a TV on, if you can just mute yourself, that way everybody can kind of hear. Or Julia, do you need to mute everybody?
Everybody real quick.
Okay.
We'll mute you. Okay, there we go. Every once in a while, we'll just have to mute everyone. So
the cash bonus is one time, but your profit sharing, that's monthly. And you can be gold on your way to senior gold. Like let's say you have 150 points, you get paid on all those points. And so that's on top of this bonus. That's on top of your preferred customer bonuses. That's on top of your commissions. So, I mean, $1,000, y'all, that's life changing. Being absolutely serious. That is totally life changing. I know so many people that could stay, they say all the time, if I could make it the extra $1,000 a month, I could stay at home. Or if I could do, that's a house payment, y'all. So that's a big deal.
That's what's the one thing I love about this company. You don't have to be ranked super high to make good money. For me, my first goal after just paying for my products was I want to make $1,000 a month. In fact, I tell this story a lot. I called my friends up and said, if I can make $1,000 a month, then, that's what I wanted to make. So I think that's a really good goal, is to try to help your teammates get gold too, because this is when they're going to be making, substantial money. The next slide is the 3 categories of ambassadors. And Lindsay's going to discuss this for us.
Okay, so it took me a while to kind of get my mind wrapped around this, but once I finally got it, y'all, I could kind of prioritize my time so much differently and so much more efficiently. So, okay, we all know that we've got, and some of us on this call probably were, we just wanted to sign up for the cheapest price. I know that I was that. Julia didn't even tell me there was another price. I just knew wholesale price. So, we all have people that literally just sign up for the wholesale price. They may be aware of the business, but they love the products. They just want to be a wholesale customer, and that is fine. I will tell you, I always encourage you to add your even wholesale ambassadors, unless they just say, I don't want to be on there, to a team page, because I'm like a great example. I got on there and I just started looking around. I had no idea all the stuff that the products help with until I started playing around on the team pages, and I just got inspired. And I went from like a Friday just signing up to get my products cheaper to that either Sunday or Monday being like, oh, I want to do this. So I just always encourage you to add even your wholesale ambassadors to a team page. You don't have to add them to 3, just add them to 1. And then you've got your joggers, which we say are people that are maybe doing this as a hobby a little bit, maybe doing this just to get their products paid for, which is totally fine. It's totally fine to have people in all these categories. In fact, it's very normal. They may just be content making a couple $100 a month to pay for their products, or or maybe just paying for their products and having a couple of extra $100. They might post a few times here and there, but they're not, dead set. They're not consistent. They don't really want to grow maybe a big team. They're happy with just a few customers, that type of thing. And then you've got your runners, your people who see the vision, catch the vision, come to you with questions, doing the work, getting on the calls, being active on the team page, that kind of thing. Those are your runners. And I think it's important to know that people can kind of rotate from these. They may start out as a wholesale ambassador, but they might get they might just catch the bug and become a runner, and the joggers, may eventually, something may happen in their life. They're like, you know what, I really want to do this. I just talked to someone this week who was, kind of piddling a little bit here and there, content, maybe even complacent a little bit. And then something happened. She's like, okay, I really want to do this. I get it now. And so I think just keeping in contact with your team members, whether they're just as just a customer, a jogger, of course, a runner, is super, super important, because what's going on with their life, and kind of where their goals are. And I think that, I know we talk a lot about getting your new people on a 3-way call or something right when they sign up, so you can know their why, know their goals. And this is how you can find out that, y'all. You can find out, by sharing a little bit about your story, maybe find out where they are, what their goals are, that kind of thing. So I think that's why it's really important at the very beginning to, check in with just your new people and get on that 3-way call and ask those kind of questions. Julia, anything else to that one?
When you're looking at your ambassadors over the past 18 months for me, you just can't prejudge. I mean, it happened to me this week. Someone joined. I thought, oh, she's going to be a wholesale customer. And next thing I know, she's asking me tons of questions about the business. And I'll tell you one thing, I put her on my team page. I didn't put her on 3 team pages, but I put her on mine. So I think, like Elrod was saying, her seeing everything going on, it kind of got her interested. And I always think of Ellen and Andrea. When they started, they had no interest in the business ever. And look at them, they're diamonds now. They're diamond gold, diamond silver now. So there's going to be so many people that you join and say, hey, I want nothing to do with the business. I just want to join for wholesale prices. That's going to end up falling in love with the company and end up being one of your biggest runners. One thing that I learned this past year, and it's my favorite example, and you've probably heard it if you've heard many of my trainings, is you're going to recruit 10 people. So out of these 10 people, you're going to have 2 people who are going to be runners. They are going to be rock stars. Elrod, Lindsay is one of these people for me. She's one of these 10 that no matter what, how well I trained her, how well I guided her, she was going to succeed in this business no matter what. Because she was one of those 2 people. I always say, and we all want those people, but sometimes we don't always get many of those people. So out of 10, you get about 2 of those people that are going to succeed no matter what you do. But you're also going to get 2 people who are going to do nothing. It doesn't matter if you are the best leader, the best trainer, the best motivator, no matter how much you pour into them, they're just not going to do anything with this business. You can't motivate people. We always say that. You can drag the horse to water, but you can't make them drink. That old saying. So those 2 people, no matter what you do, it's not gonna matter. But then that leaves you with 6 people. And those 6 people are the people that are left for you to influence. And it's those 6 people those are the important people on your team, because those people are the next few slides that we're going to show you. It's important to do these steps. They might be joggers. One of those 6 people might be a wholesale customer. You don't know, but you just want to make sure you're identifying loosely, because you don't want to prejudge, but try to identify those type of ambassadors. Today I actually had a message from a girl, she's probably on here, but and she was frustrated because she had a lot of wholesale customers on her team and she was wanting to get gold. And I told her, you got to take that energy that you're putting towards those wholesale customers and put it towards finding some runners and joggers, because there's no use of focusing on those wholesale customers. And I love the saying, you got to love them where they're at. If they join and they just want to buy a probiotic, look, our probiotic is amazing. Great. Encourage them. Don't keep bugging them to commission qualify or to buy Slim or to buy a combo if they just love the probiotic. Because first of all, you're going to scare them away and they're going to end up a white line. Or, eventually, because you love them, loving that one product, they're going to say, oh, well, maybe I should try X Factor. Maybe I should try Mega X. They might eventually try other products. So just make sure you're loving all three of these ambassadors exactly where they're at, and you will see success.
I would add one more thing too. A lot of my, your customers become these things too, like flipping customers to these. Happy customers make amazing ambassadors. I could go through my list of customers that were preferred customers and now are just doing just so wonderful on our team too. So, I mean, flipping customers is a really kind of good thing. If they're just loving the probiotic as a customer, they may want to stay a customer. You know what I'm saying? But if they're loving the products and they're on the triplex, they're seeing things, flipping to an ambassador is a really big deal. And then getting them on that team page and getting them to kind of see the light bulb, that's happened with several of mine. And that's always really fun.
The Power Hour. Okay, so here we go. I love the Power Hour. Mm-hmm. Melissa Eichenhorst has a great little training on this, and I want to be very careful as I go into this because my husband's probably laughing in the next room saying, Julia, you work way more than an hour a day. And I do because I'm diamond. My goals were different than just becoming gold. But let's just read these little graphics real quick from John Maxwell. Doing a little bit every day is better than doing a lot someday. And I love that because it focuses on just doing a little bit every day. And then the next one, the 2-step time management rule. Plan your day to achieve your goals and then keep to your plan. So you have to have a plan. So let's talk about our Power Hour. Look, my slide is very simple. I'm a simple girl. 2 things, posting and 531. So I think if you're trying to get gold, really an hour is okay. If you have bigger goals and you want to be emerald by July 31st, you're probably going to have a few power hours, more than one. But if you're just looking at this and saying, Julia, I just want to go gold, that's my step, then I think if you manage it correctly and smart, if you work smarter, not harder, you can make it in an hour. So the first thing you want to do is post. You have to post. And we have so many trainings. There's a YouTube video, actually, Lindsay and I made on my YouTube channel. I laugh at that because I'm not really, but I do have a YouTube channel. But it's about make the most of your post. So maybe you want to jot that down and go watch that. So because we're not going to go into great detail, but you want to make sure you're posting at least 2 to 3 times a day. You want to make sure you're educating your audience about the products. You're giving great testimonies. Remember, stories sell. Facts tell, stories sell. And also because you're a leader now, because you're silver, people are watching you. And they're watching to see how you post. Because when you recruit somebody on your team, they're most likely going to post like you post. So if you're only going to post once a day, guess what? Your new people are only going to post once a day. If you're only committed to post every other day, your team is going to post every other day. So make sure you're posting consistently. You're posting smart. If it wouldn't catch your attention, don't post it. Don't just throw a post up there just to say you have a post. Remember, graphics don't sell. That's probably one of my biggest pet peeves, I guess, is just lots and lots of graphics. So make sure you post smart and you post consistently. Then there's obviously 531. If you're on my team, I feel like, or Andrea's or Rod's, or 531 is how we got where we're at. It's how I got silver. It's how I got gold. It's how I went all the way up to diamond. And that is just reaching out to 5 new people a day. So, to get to silver, I hope you have your hundreds list. If you don't have a list of 100 people that you could reach out and tell about these products or this company, you need to make sure you have 100 lists. Make sure you're reaching out daily. That could be meeting people for coffee or meeting people for play dates. It could be at events. It could be private messaging on Facebook, email. Reaching out can look totally different for anybody. Then there's 3, and that is follow up. And I think probably by gold, reaching gold, follow up is key. I mean, follow up's always key, but you've probably reached out some, and it's time to follow up with people who might have said, "Oh, I want to buy it," but we all have those people. I'm going to buy it. I'm going to join, and then they never do. Make sure you're following up with those people. I keep an ongoing list still of people who say they're going to do it and they have it. So when we have specials, or we have free shipping, I can go back to them and say, "Hey, we're having free shipping, just didn't want you to miss a good deal." And a lot of people will jump on board then. And then one, of course, is training. And we're going to talk about training tonight, but make sure you're training yourself. This is perfect time. If things are going a little slow for you, I tell people in the slow times, train yourself, get organized. Come up with those emails that you want to send to people so you'll have them to share with your team once your team starts really growing. Elrob, do you have anything for 531 or posting?
Yes, I love 531. Exactly what she said. That's how we all got here. I mean, doing that same thing every day. And just like the little graphic said, doing a little bit every day. And I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with John Maxwell, but he has a little kind of story, little thing that he uses called the rule of 5. And it's just a little story where someone goes in their front yard and he's trying to cut a tree down. And so he goes out every day and just does taps 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and puts his axe down. Does the same thing the next day and the next day and the next day. And eventually that tree falls down. He's not out there one day just whacking away and whacking away and whacking away and whacking away. He's doing a little bit every day. And, I've got people that on my team that I won't hear from for months. And then all of a sudden I'll see, a couple of days where they just like blow up Facebook and post, and then they don't post again for weeks. That's not sending the right message. So same thing in your 531, doing that little bit every day, consistently every day. And then I would add, just because I can see where this really helped me in my business, is having it written down, y'all. Like if you can take time on a Sunday night or Saturday night, whatever works for you, and have a calendar or just a notebook, or if you're an Excel person, that's fine too, but having a plan, because one, it's going to help you when you sit down to do your 531 or your power hour, you already have it written out. You're not having to go through your list and figure out, well, who can I message today, or blah. Yes, you will definitely have people that you saw a post on their page about migraines, and you can add her to your list or whatever. But having a written out plan, okay, I'm going to reach out to these people today. I'm going to follow up with these people, and I'm going to, this week I'm going to work on products. This week I'm going to train my team on products. This week I'm going to work on my cold messaging. This week I'm going to really train myself on leadership or whatever. Just having a written plan, I think really in my business, I could see a huge jump in momentum when I made my written out plan and I followed it. So something as simple, y'all, as writing it down, that really was a big help for me.
And I just want to add to the end of this. I know if you're silver, you've heard both of these, 531 and posting. But guys, it doesn't change. I mean, it's simple. You can't reinvent the wheel. This is what works. And at pretty much every training you get on with me, and probably Lindsay, you're going to hear post consistently 531, because it eventually it works. Our next thing is leading your team. Elrob?
Okay. Do we have another slide that's got our points? Oh, I love that quote though. Okay, so I love this. I remember Roz. If you guys don't know, Rosalind is one of our diamonds. We have such an amazing upline. But she's one of our diamonds, and she went emerald working full time in 9 months. She just has so much wisdom. If you don't ever watch her YouTube video or get on her team page, you totally need to. She's awesome. But one thing that she said months and months and months ago, and it just clicked with me, post on your team page every day. And I know some of y'all may have if you're silver and you've just hit silver, you just may have those 3, ambassadors that want the products at wholesale. You may have 5 people and 2 of them want to work the business. If you don't have a team page yet, and you don't think you're ready for that, have a little thread. Have a little thread with your people that are your joggers and your runners, and kind of just feed something to them every day. It could be a product video. It could be something, just basic stuff, whatever. The best way to teach somebody, I mean, the best way to learn is to teach somebody what you're learning. So just kind of pass that information on. And but I think doing that every day, I have a lot of people that have just a really, really amazing team pages, and they are posting something every day. Y'all look at your uplines team pages. That's what we did when we were starting out. Look at all of our team pages, get ideas. It's totally okay. Copy and paste, tweak it how it sounds, how you want it for your team, and save the graphic and add it to your team page. Just something that you're doing every day on your page or in those threads. If you've got people that are just doing it for the wholesale price, they don't need to be in a thread where you're teaching them how to do 531 and stuff right away. Eventually, they may want to be in that. But again, that's knowing your team and knowing kind of where to put your effort. And then some other things you could have on your team page. I'm a video person. I love videos. But make your own little video. I think that when people see you, they really connect with you, and connecting, y'all, that's part of leadership. And so when they're connecting with you and they just feel like they're relating to you, that's a big deal. So find a video that you love and just make it your own. Take notes, and then that's still what I do all the time. I take a video that I like, that I really learn from, and I just make it my own. Leading Zoom calls. I remember when when my first people started doing their own Zoom calls, I felt so like, oh my goodness, this is really happening. You don't have to wait till you're senior gold or ruby or whatever to start doing these, y'all. Again, these are kind of like the things on your team page. Just teach them what you're learning. Face to face is so important in a team atmosphere and a leadership atmosphere. You really need. I've heard. I sat down with a leadership consultant who does leadership workshops for Alpha, which is a big insurance company in Alabama. But she encourages that your team needs to see your face somehow once a week. And so that's something that really hit home with me, and I really am trying to be more intentional about that, because I get it. I like watching a little 3-minute video of Julia. Even though we're friends and I talk to her all the time, I just love it. It connects with me. And so doing that Zoom call or doing something, you don't have to do Zoom call once a week, y'all, right now, but doing something where they can see your face once a week. I will say I have a silver on my team who's a level 4, I believe, and she was doing boot camps with her small little silver team. I'm like, already, and it blew me away. And you know what? They recognized her as a leader, and so did I. And I knew that I needed to feed into her and really invest in her, because she was making that effort. And she was just taking the things that we had taught her and she had gotten from our team pages and learned, and just transferring them down to her team. And that's duplication. And that's going to make your business go for the long term. You know what I mean? When you're duplicating all the way down like that. Local meetings, again, face to face. If you can ever get someone in person to an opportunity meeting or a sip and see or anything like that, y'all, it builds so much belief. And if any of y'all know that have been to any of the events that we've had, or Super Saturday, or any of the team breakfasts that Julia has done, and we have actually 2 big things coming up. We've got, Julia's got a couple of breakfasts, but we have one in Montgomery, and then one is it Talladega?
Talladega County, yeah.
Talladega County, yeah. And then on February 23rd, the big opportunity of a lifetime. Y'all, these are huge. And I guarantee you that most people that have caught the vision and are doing this and have drawn their line in the sand, it's been at a meeting like this. It's been in something face to face, because it's the excitement, and it just builds belief, and it just brings about validity to everything. So if you don't have meetings in your area, y'all do one. Julia she brought Plexus from Dallas, and she didn't have anybody to do a meeting with her. She just did it by herself. She watched them online and learned how to do them. If you do have an upline that's around here, ask your upline to help you and do one. These don't even have to be this huge, big, PowerPoint thing. This can also be, you grab a couple of friends and say, hey, can I treat you to Starbucks and just kind of go over this? I really think you'd be great, but I want you to be able to ask some questions. Anything face to face or voice to voice. I would even say that voice to voice. really, really, they get to hear your enthusiasm. They get to hear your sincerity, and it just catches a fire, you know. Julia, do you want to talk?
Yeah, before we go into
Go
team,
ahead.
I just listening to her talk, I just want to say, I'm the same way with Lindsay this past month of having a silver ambassador starting her own boot camps, y'all. And her team is exploding. And I really think it's just setting yourself up as a leader. But I will say, I call it the rite of passage. It never fails. At least once a month, I get a text from somebody who has just started their team page, and they say, Julia, I have this team page, and no one's commenting. It's like I'm posting, and that's, I mean, and it's a rite of passage. It was that way for me. I think it was that way for Lindsay. We start these teams. We're excited, but our team's not. And so I just want to encourage you, keep posting, keep making those videos, even if you see where it's like seen by 3 people and no one even likes it, keep doing it, because I promise you, A, you're not alone, and B, people will start catching the vision. You're going to get those runners on your team. And it's kind of like you almost have a little bit of practice for like a month or so before people really start noticing. So, and sometimes it's good to grab someone, maybe a level 1 who really wants to work the business, and say, hey, do this with me. And y'all kind of tag team your team page. I've seen people do that too. And I think that works really well too. I never really had that from the beginning, but I've seen where people have teamed up with people and really worked their team pages, and that's worked very well. So, but I can't add anything else to what L. Rob said, so that was all good. Let's talk about team contests. This is some of my favorites. So.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Julia knows is one of my favorite sayings. You need to start out like you can hold out. I had a friend. She was so excited. She was a friend, but I had met her through Plexus. So she was on my team, and she was like barely silver, and she was going to do this contest. I don't even know if she was silver yet, y'all. And her prize was an iPad, and I was like, oh. I think at that time I was like a Ruby, senior Ruby. I think the biggest contest I'd ever done was like maybe a $50 gift card. And so I was like, oh, don't start out like that. So Julia's got some really good tips on contests, though.
Yeah, so Lindsay and I were discussing this training. I think there are appropriate contests for silvers trying to reach gold. And like Lindsay says, you don't want to have this huge prize because everyone's going to expect every month for you to have this huge prize, and you don't really need it. So just a few contests that I think are great to have is, of course, the Power 3 to go silver, because we want to duplicate, and we're going to talk tonight about duplicating. And you want to encourage your level 1s, your level 2s to go silver, because that's not only going to give them a $100 bonus, plus maybe, give them a free cup. The Plexus bottles in the back office are $8. We can all afford $8. And I will say this too, when I started, I sincerely couldn't afford to give big prizes. It probably wasn't until I went Emerald that I really felt like I could afford to do really big prizes. And thankfully you have an upline that, now that I'm Diamond, I can do some bigger prizes. So your team's on my page for big prizes. But the Power 3 to go silver, I love a good posting challenge. Right here to the right. The reason I love posting challenges is because at the beginning, people want to be told what to do. They work better with a plan. And if you can give them, and you can see where I even scratched out somebody's name. This wasn't even my original thing. But if you give them 7 days worth of how to post, you're going to get people on your team who have never posted, and they're like, oh, well, I want to win a free Plexus shirt. You can do a Plexus shirt, $15. Swag works really well at the beginning, and it gets them starting to post. Well, guess what? If they're posting, that means they might get new customers, or they might get new ambassadors. And then their excitement, their belief is going to build. So I think having a posting challenge is a great, the perfect contest for silver ambassadors for their team, or for gold ambassadors for their team. Right here is one. You don't even have to give prizes. Every challenge doesn't deserve a prize. Sometimes you just want to know, what actions will you tell us, what the action you will take to reach your February goals. Well, it gets your people, well, what's my February goal? To reach $500 in sales. Well, And then they start talking about their goals. Commission qualifying. That's a great contest. Everyone who commission qualifies this month before Valentine's Day will be entered to win a $10 gift card. I mean, it could be as simple as that. And so commission qualifying, sharing your why, that would be a good one for your team, because you're trying to figure out what people's why. Why are they doing Plexus? Is it, and say, everyone share your why. I guess this is kind of like posting. Post your why on your personal page. And that kind of has, again, it might help them gain customers. It might help them gain ambassadors. Plus, it gets them thinking, why are they doing Plexus? So those are just a few challenges that I think, as you're thinking about how to lead your team. And this is another reason I always encourage people to start team pages, so you can do these challenges easily with your team. Because I think if you're silver, you can easily have a team page. And that way you can post these challenges for your team and get them involved. Anything on challenges or contests, Lindsay?
I would like, if you guys can think of one, like a challenge that you really liked, or a contest that you have done that's been really good. If you could comment in the chat section, that would be really great, and that everybody can see it. I just think that would be a cool idea. So we don't have to unmute everybody, but you could just type it all out and people could see it. And what she said about their team page, if you're not ready yet, I have a lot of people that have done this. They're not quite ready to have people on there yet, so they've gone ahead and started. And me and them are the only people on their team page. They've gone ahead and started adding the files, and they've gone ahead and picked up their picture and that kind of thing. So they're kind of getting ready. And I always say, prepare for rain. The little story about two farmers that were praying for rain, and only one went out there and got his field ready. Get your team page ready. Go ahead and prepare for rain. So, and then y'all. I think the contests or the challenges that you do should be teaching them the skills that they should be doing. And these are the basic skills that we still do. Posting, reaching out, commission qualified, going silver, 531, that kind of thing. I still get excited about a Plexus t-shirt.
Me too. So, okay, duplication. So, we talk about the power of 3 all the time. So when I first started, I looked, and I started for the business. When I started, I didn't really have an idea where it was going to take me, but I had seen Andrea and, succeed, and she was Emerald. I think maybe she had hit Sapphire by the time I joined, but I knew I wanted the business. And when I really didn't understand the comp plan, but I knew I had gone silver, and I was thinking, okay, how in the world am I going to get 20 people? That seemed like such a huge accomplishment, 20 people. And then, you have to think, then to go Emerald, you have to have 300 people commission qualified. So, but then I watched the video of Sheila Medina. Sheila Medina is Plexus's first diamond. And it looks very old school if you watch it, but it is the greatest video. And I think it's more the filming, not her. But she just did a great job of describing the power of 3. And you can look that up on YouTube, Sheila Medina, Power of 3. But it just made a complete shift in my mindset. I was like, okay, I can do this. I'm going to get 3 people. And then I'm going to get them to get 3 people, and then they'll get 3 people. And you can look at this graph right here. It's called the power of 3. And still to this day, my goal every month is to recruit 3 people. That's my goal. In January, I recruited 3 people. I went silver. This month, I want to recruit 3 level 1s and go silver. I think out of 18 months, there's only been 1 month that I have not gone silver. And guys, that right there, and again, Elrob mentioned it. Not everyone does that. I think Roz, giggles at me sometimes about my level 1s. But, she went diamond, I think, with 20 level 1s, I believe. So don't think you have to do that, because you have to go deep and wide. You have to go deep. And so the way you go deep is getting your people to get 3 people. Mm-hmm. Or why don't you explain the math here? You'll be better at explaining.
Oh gosh. Okay. Well, if you can you scroll down a little bit, where they can see the very bottom of it?
Oh, I can see the bottom. No, because I just messed that up. Sorry.
That's okay. No, it's fine. Like, I just love this because I think, again, your job as a leader is to model. You need to model what you want them to do. You need to inspire, and you need to set strategy for. But this is part of inspiring, is catching, helping them catch the vision. So like she was saying, it seems so far stretched, but if you can just look at how simple and how quickly that this could happen, y'all. If you just look, okay, so you've got you've added your 3, okay, then all 3 of those people add their 3. So this is showing 3 levels deep, right? Okay, well, the little numbers at the bottom show 5 levels deep. So if all those it says 5 because your levels 1, 2, and 3 are worth 5 points. I don't know if y'all know that, the point system. I won't go into a lot of that, but so your level 3s, all of them get 3 level 1s, right? And the same thing down. So look at the math. And I don't even know if this might be less than a $3 point. I'm not really sure. But that's just on pay points. That's not building bonuses. That's not commission. That's not preferred bonuses. That's not your rank advancement bonuses. That's just on points. And I will tell you, when you first start, you probably feel like a lot of your salary comes from customers, and it does, and that's normal. But then as you're ranking up, the points are where you get a lot of your paycheck. So I talked to this girl. She didn't really want to give up some of her customers. She didn't really want to flip them yet, and I was trying to show her this vision, and it's like a light bulb went off. She was like, "Oh my goodness, what?" So when you break it down simple for people, you don't. I always tell people that Tamara Holloway, if y'all don't follow her on YouTube or Facebook, she's wonderful. She's a Diamond Ambassador, and she's got great trainings too. But when she first started, she had 311 Facebook friends. That's not, a ton of people. And so, it's not so much who you know, it's who they know. And it's sharing the vision. Being a leader is just kind of opening the vision and helping them see the vision. But they're going to buy into the vision when they buy into you. You know what I mean? So I just love this. This is one of my favorite things. And again, like Julia said, if y'all have not seen that video, you really need to watch it. It's really encouraging.
Yeah, and I want to add too, and this has been my process all the way to Diamond, is you need to focus on getting the people below you to rank up. Your focus really shouldn't be, oh, let me get gold. Let me get gold. It really should be, let me get my friends and family below me silver. And then you're naturally going to rank up. When I was trying to go emerald, I wasn't thinking, okay, how many points do I need to go emerald? It was, okay, who do I have below me that needs to get gold? I had these 5 girls, I need to get them gold. And then I naturally would go emerald. When I think I was going diamond, L Rob was trying to go for emerald. So I focused, okay, let's get L Rob emerald. And then I naturally go diamond. So it's it's not self-focused. And I think you're going to see such a greater, it's just more joyful to help other people, but it also just takes the stress off of you, because you get the joy of just helping other people below you rank up, and then you just naturally go up the ranks. And that, if you can keep that attitude, and I watch people who have that attitude, and I watch people who are just so self-focused on getting themselves ranked up, and they stall out because their team aren't, most people don't really care if we care that you rank up, but they're not worried about you ranking up. They might just love the products. So, just focus on getting those below you silver, and you will naturally go gold. And same all the way up to diamond. Just always focus on your team below you. Anything?
There's a question on here. I'm saying they want to know if this is 3 ambassadors. That's a good question. This is actually 3 ambassadors.
Yes.
So, but I will tell you another goal of mine, and I was sharing this with Julia, is to get for every month, and I don't always get 3 new customers and 3 ambassadors, but that's a great goal of mine, is to get 3 new customers and 3 new ambassadors. But this, for point-wise, this is just for ambassadors. And I wanted to add too, I don't know, I'm sure some of y'all have seen that Zig Ziglar quote, if you help enough people get what they want, you eventually will get what you want. And it's so true. And as far as leadership, I don't know if y'all, Joey, can you go back to that quote, the little quote page on leadership? And maybe a few slides back. Yes, That's it. Oh yeah, that. But really, it's really true. And I would tell you that. And even the first one about how when you're a leader, you're relating. What's that? Will you go back one more slide, Julia? Yes, leaders must be close enough to relate to others, but far enough ahead to motivate them. I love that because when you are helping your team, like she was saying, helping them advance, it's twofold. It's going to help you naturally because that's the way that this business works. But you are building such a relationship with your team, and you are really pouring into them. And y'all, that's leadership. Connecting with your team, adding value to your team, pouring into them. That to me influence and adding value to people is what leadership is all about. So, really these things are simple, what we're teaching you, but there's a lot deeper rooted meaning behind them, if that makes sense. So, I love all this. I could talk about all this stuff forever.
Okay, the difference between a jewel and a non-jewel. We're going to talk about this. And this is our last little slide.
Okay, so Ellen, if y'all don't know Ellen Ford, she's another one of our diamonds. If y'all have not realized it, you're on like the best team in the company, literally the best team. She did a poll on the Jewel page and asked, okay, if two people signed up on the same day, and a year later, one was a Jewel and one wasn't, what do you think are some things that really made a difference? Like, what were differences in them? And just belief in the products, belief in the company, and belief in yourself. And I think the opposite of that would be getting a customer that didn't get the results she wanted in 20 or 30 days and just stopped. That can be discouraging. But guess what? Getting back on a team page or listen to an opportunity call and listening to just some kind of testimony and building your belief back up again. Those kind of things. Consistency, work ethic, y'all. That's 5-3-1. That's the rule of 5. Knocking that little bit of that tree every single day. No matter if you feel like it or not. I think that the opposite of sacrifice is kind of excuses. I mean, I think we all. You're on this team and you're sacrificing something. You're sacrificing a TV show, or early to bed, or probably things that it's actually benefiting you a little bit more, and you'll realize that later. But we can all come up with a million different excuses. But I think to me, the person that either runs with their excuses is different than someone that is consistent and chooses to sacrifice. Julia, you want to go?
I'm going to go drive and determination.
Sure.
And commitment. Sorry, I had to move my little thingy so I could read it. Driving, and I think this is a lot about knowing your why. And that's why we drive that home so much. Our first, our 3-way calls start with me telling you my why, and I want to hear why. When I called my level 1 this morning, she's new. I said, okay, I need to know your why. It hit me. I haven't heard your why. Because that drive and determination, the commitment, again, I think it works so close to being consistent, because if you have that drive and that determination, you're going to naturally be consistent. So just clearly know, and your why could just be simply to lose a few pounds. That's what a lot of people at the beginning, that's their why. It could be to make $1,000. It could be to make $200 to cover, your car payment. But knowing your why will keep you driven and determined. And just knowing that that's going to change throughout your journey is very important too, because what my why was a year ago is different from what it was today. I tell people, Jared had lost his job when I had joined Plexus. And so my determination was it was, I don't mean to be dramatic, but it was like, we got to feed the kids. So I had determination. I was going to make this work. When we moved here, we didn't have internet. And again, I know it sounds kind of dramatic, but every day Jared got home from his new job, I would drive to McAllister's, which is like the closest thing to civilization, and I would go to internet so I could email customers and potentials, because I wanted to make this work.
3 weeks.
And I did that for 3 weeks. So, I had the commitment. So I really, and again, not all of you are going to have that huge I guess, determination. Not everybody's husband's going to lose a job. I don't want that. But you've got to know why you're doing this and why you're determined. And it will grow, because I always say this is kind of addicting. Wouldn't you say, El Rob? Like, it's kind of addicting as you start going and you're helping people and you're getting messages of people feeling better and not having migraines. I think just naturally our commitment and our drive grows. And then
I would add too, knowing your team's why.
Yes.
That drives me too. That really drives me.
Yes. And that's kind of where I am now. Knowing I have friends that want to quit work, that want to pay for their child's school, or want to pay, that drives me now. I want to help my friends and team members reach their goals. The next thing is credibility and integrity. And this is one that, you either, I feel like you have maybe before Plexus or you don't, but you want to make sure you're doing everything with integrity. And I remember Andrea telling me from the very beginning, nothing's worth her integrity. She wanted to be able to go to bed at night, lay her head on the pillow, and not be worried about a decision she had made. And I think that's really important for us to understand, because we are doing business with friends. So if you have somebody that comes to you and wants to join your team, say you're one away from gold, and a mutual friend comes to you and wants to join your team, but they've been talking to another person. That's integrity to say, hey, I think you need to go back to the person who originally talked to you about Plexus. And we can talk about different circumstances there, but even when you're messaging people, it still happens to me every week. Hey, I have to say, hey, has anyone else talked to you about Plexus? Yeah, I would still love to grow my level ones, but I want to make sure I'm having integrity, that I'm doing everything to, in my power to make sure that this team is doing things the right way. What do you have to say to this, El Rob? Credibility and integrity.
I would just say something a little bit like a little bit more basic. I have a couple of people that they've done a lot of little things before. They've kind of piddled here, they've kind of piddled there, and they've kind of piddled, and they really want to do this now. And they're really focused on it. And I think it's just going to take a little bit more time for people to realize that they're serious. So I guess this is more on the credibility side, maybe than more on the integrity. But sometimes you just kind of got to gain people's trust. You know what I mean? Oh, this is just another thing she's doing or whatever. And again, all these things on this list, really, if you don't have them, these can be taught and these can be learned. You know what I mean? There's nothing that you can't start over with or whatever. So I think credibility, I think goes a lot with like your posting and your consistency and things like that. You've got to be, and you've got to, I always love the story that Julia says, like, you've got to be real with people and you've got to be vulnerable with people. Vulnerability brings connection, and connection makes people trust you. So if you don't know the answer to something and they're messaging you back and forth, they would much rather you say, you know what, I don't really know this yet, but I've got a great team and an upline that can help me. I will get back to you with this answer. So I think just kind of earning your audience's trust is a really big deal. And a lot of people are just waiting for you to just move on to the next thing too. So, and then attitude, y'all, that I think attitude and positivity, that is something that, again, if you don't have a great attitude, someone was telling me, I guess on our other call the other night, she has great Plexus posts. Like, her Plexus posts are just dynamic. They're incredible. But her personal posts, which are just as important to me, I've been telling my team about this, your non-Plexus posts are just as important as your Plexus posts. One, it keeps your people engaged. And two, it just lets them see that Plexus is just a part of your life, not your entire life. But that she was just kind of negative Nancy and kind of a little bit of the drama and stuff. People don't want that. You know what I mean? I'm not saying everybody's got issues, y'all, but you don't have to post everything that's bad happening on social media. So those kind of things, they get caught, attitude for your team and positivity for your team is huge. If you've got an issue, y'all go to your upline, and they're the people that you want to talk to about it, not your team. You know what I mean? Those kind of things.
And I think that's like she just touched on your attitude and positivity towards your team on your team page. Your team
Mm-hmm.
is watching every move. And if you're positive about the back office change and you say, you're going to keep them positive. And if they come to you complaining about shipping delays, if you remain positive, it's going to make such a big difference for them instead of starting a gripe fest or, agreeing with them. So just make sure you're very careful with the words you use towards your downline. And then the last thing is network influence. And Lindsay and I and a few other of the leaders on our team, we're going through a book, and it's about, leadership is influence. And, some of us naturally have a big network. For me, we're gypsies. We have lived everywhere. So I naturally had just a large network. But there are diamonds who are from towns with just a few hundred people, and grew up there, never lived anywhere else, who made it to diamond. So you can't use a network as an excuse. I think it's how you use your network. And influence, again. And I think if you have everything up here, it's going to affect the influence you have of others. So, influence can be taught, and in network, you can, like she was talking about Tamara Holloway with just a few hundred Facebook friends. I'm pretty sure she probably has thousands of Facebook friends now. You can broaden your network, and we have trainings on that, broadening your network. So,
Can I say something real quick that just hit me about the influence? I'm sorry. I didn't mean it. It just hit me. Here's the thing about that, y'all. You can have all this other stuff, but if you don't have influence, it's going to be harder. And so what I would do, I think at this stage, you're probably learning a lot about yourself because you're balancing your customers, you're balancing your team, you're balancing trying to post, you're trying to learn. This stage is a really big balance, y'all. We remember that it's balance. But I would look up that John Maxwell book. How to influence people or how to be an influencer. There's an audio version or there's a book version. Because I will tell you, you can have all of this, and if you take that one word out, there's eventually going to be a block. And again, there's a story about Abraham Lincoln. I don't know if y'all are familiar with this, but Jerry can kind of quote, he can tell me if I'm saying this wrong, but Chad's the history buff in our family, but I did love the story. He was obviously in charge, a captain or something in his platoon, and he did not really know the jargon and really didn't lead his troop correctly, and they just kind of fell apart. But he's Abe Lincoln, so there's more to that story. So he gained that influence back. So it is something that can be learned and can be taught, and can be bounced back from. But I would encourage every one of y'all to look up that audio or written book, whatever you like better, because I think that is, to me, one of the most important things on this list.
Right. And that's really all we have. We love this little slide. We love the story, and you might not have seen it on my page. You can look up keyword Celeste, and it comes up. But this is just something we continually share. So many people start digging, and they stop right before they get to the gold or to the diamonds or whatever. So, just keep at it. I know silver can be a long, trying time for many people, but I promise you it's worth it. And if you stay consistent and you keep doing and you lead your team, you will eventually get there. Lindsay, any closing words?
I love this picture. I just love this. I thought it was so appropriate for the end of this. And we did it in an hour on the dot, Julia.
Well, I am going. There's still about 80 of us on the call, but I will open it up for questions. If you are, or if you're ready.